Lesson 1. Effects of alcohol on driving safety. How does understanding the effects of alcohol on a person's driving ability help keep you and others safe? Objective. Explain how alcohol affects the mental and physical abilities needed for driving safety. Alcohol is the leading cause of driver fatalities. Even though it is illegal for teenagers to buy or consume alcohol, they represent a significant percent of alcohol abusers. For teenage drivers in particular, the combination of inexperience and alcohol can be fatal. All states enforce a minimum drinking age of 21. Laws against underage drinking and drinking are variously enforced. Alcohol-related educational programs in schools and communities have increased. Unfortunately, despite all these efforts of law enforcement and educating young drivers, alcohol-related collisions are still a major safety problem. Alcohol facts. Some people may not be aware that alcohol is categorized as a drug because it can be purchased legally by anyone over 21 years of age. It is categorized as a drug because of the effects it has on the central nervous system. There are different types of alcohol included. Methylene, also known as wood alcohol. Isopropylene alcohol, also known as rubbing alcohol. Ethanol, or what is commonly referred to as alcohol, is found in the alcoholic driving peoples consume. Alcoholic drinking people consume. The effects of drinking alcohol vary from person to person. However, everyone who drinks alcohol beverages is affected in some degree. One of the most serious problems of drinking alcohol is people who drink and drive. Even a small amount of alcohol in your bloodstream can affect your coordination and ability to think clearly. Alcohol and your driving ability, regardless of the type of alcohol drank. As soon as the alcohol from even one drink reaches the brain, it affects the way a person thinks and behaves. The amount of alcohol doesn't affect all people the same. In fact, alcohol doesn't even affect the same person in the same way in all situations. Effects on the central nervous system. Alcohol is classified as a depressant. Alcohol acts on the central nervous system like an anesthetic, slowing the activity of the brain. Alcohol is not digested in the stomach. Alcohol has the greatest effect on the part of the brain that controls judgment and reasoning, the two most critical emotional skills needed by drivers. Physical ability becomes impaired soon after. Effects of judgment and reasoning. A driver impaired by alcohol has a decreased ability to reason clearly and make sound judgments. A person impaired by alcohol can develop a false feeling of well-being or euphoria. People who are in an euphoric state of mind may take chances they normally wouldn't take, chances that may be deadly when behind the wheel of a car. Alcohol also weakens a person's inhibitions, the force of personality that restrains or holds back impulse behavior. An alcohol content in the body increases a driver's inhibitions relax. The driver might drive too fast, take needless risks, even drive into a high-risk situation without knowing or caring. A driver whose judgment and reasoning ability are impaired by alcohol is less able to interpret correctly what he or she is seeing, may scan scenes erratically and see the target area unclear. Effects of alcohol behavior. Right? Number of drinks, 1 in 1 hour. 1 serving. Okay, ambitions are loosened, judgment and reasoning begins to be affected. 3 servings, unable to think clearly, judgment and reasons are not reliable, muscular coordination is impaired. 4 servings, after 4 drinks, hearing, speech, and vision and balance are affected, most behaviors are affected. Effects on vision. One of the most dangerous effects of alcohol is impaired vision. Impairment occurs in vision, accuracy, perceptional vision, night vision, color vision, and depth perception. Peripheral vision. Impaired vision combined with diminished judgment and slow reaction can cause a driver to be in a conflict. A driver who's been drinking may have difficulty reacting. Why might a driver who has been drinking have difficulty seeing the pedestrian and avoid conflict in the scene? Visual accuracy. Because alcohol distorts vision, it reduces the effects of the driver's ordinary visual search patterns. A driver who has been drinking is more likely to fixate his or her eyes in a stare, thus hindering the scanning and searching patterns. A driver who stares is unaware of a vehicle that may be to the side or to the rear. Reflex actions. Alcohol also affects the reflex actions of the eyes, especially at night. Drivers who are not impaired by alcohol have the normal eye reflexes that keep them from being blinded by oncoming headlights. After a few drinks, the reflex action is impaired and drivers may become temporarily blind. Blurred vision. After excessive drinking, a person might see multiple images. Each eye normally picks up a separate image of the object. These 2 images are coordinated by the brain so that the person sees only one image. After several drinks, however, the coordination of the image becomes impaired. Depth perception. Alcohol impairs both depth perception as well. The drinking driver may misjudge the distance of an oncoming or cross-traffic vehicle and actually see a vehicle farther away than it actually is. In addition, the driver who drinks cannot accurately determine the speed or distance of approaching vehicles. Peripheral vision. Drinking also affects peripheral vision, narrowing it so that the driver must turn and look to the side for potential problems. Not only is the driver unable to avoid hazards, the driver actually becomes a hazard. Physical effects of driving. A driver who has been drinking alcohol may recognize a dangerous situation, but the brain takes longer to perceive the information and react to the danger. Muscular coordination becomes slow and clumsy. A driver impaired by alcohol might oversteer, brake late, or accelerate suddenly. A large amount of alcohol is consumed in a short period of time. The drinker becomes unconscious, and death may follow. Long-term use of alcohol can lead to alcoholism and addiction to alcohol. Objective. Define blood concentration, alcohol concentration. Alcohol in the blood. The amount of alcohol detected in a person's bloodstream is called blood alcohol concentration. The level of intoxication is determined by the percent of alcohol in the bloodstream. Beer, wine, and liquor can be thought as a drink. A standard size, all drinks have the same amount of alcohol as shown. Peer pressure. You and your friends are at the party. Although you're not drinking, you notice that your friend is drinking. You know she is driving home after the party. What would you say to your friends? List and explain factors that affect blood alcohol concentration. Factors affecting blood alcohol content. The percent of alcohol in the bloodstream depends on several factors. The more a person drinks, the higher the blood alcohol content. A person's blood alcohol content raises more rapidly if less time elapses between drinks. If other factors are equal, a heavier person may be affected less by the same amount of alcohol than a person who weighs less. Some types of food in the stomach may make a difference in the rate of absorption of alcohol. However, even with food in the stomach, the absorption rate of alcohol into the blood system is rapid. Even alcohol is mixed with carbonated beverages, the rate of absorption is faster. The safest decision a person can make about drinking alcohol is abstain entirely. Controlling impairment. Alcohol absorbed in the bloodstream very quickly, but it is slow to leave. Alcohol continues to circulate throughout the body until the liver oxidizes it. The body rids itself of alcohol at a rate of about 3/4 of a standard drink per hour. Only time can reduce the body's blood alcohol content and a person's degree of impairment. After consuming 3 drinks in 1 hour, a person needs more than 4 hours to oxide and eliminate most of the alcohol. Compare myths and truths about use of alcohol. Facts and fiction. Drinking black coffee, taking a cold shower, or exercising can make a drunk person sober. False. One drink won't hurt you. False. Beer will not make you drunk. False. Driving is easier after a few drinks. False. Young people cannot become problem drinkers. False. If you drink faster than your body can eliminate the alcohol you're consuming, your blood alcohol rises and eventually you will get drunk. This woman has had several drinks at a party and she's ready to go home. Is there a way the woman can lower her blood alcohol content more quickly so she can drive home within an hour? No. Reducing drivers and risks. One way to reduce the risk of drinking and driving is to appoint a person as a designated driver. The designated driver decides not to drink in order to stay sober so that he can drive without impairment. Although you are a responsible driver, your friends may decide to drink and drive. Responsible friends can encourage friends to limit their drinking by getting them involved in other activities. Encourage them to decide on a limit of drinks in advance and ask them to avoid drinks with a high concentration of alcohol. Review. What are some mental effects that alcohol can have on a driver who has been drinking? What are some physical effects? What are some common myths and facts about alcohol?